Hey, what's up, all you 40K fanatics? It's me, Casey.
And Shane.
And we're here to bring you more sweet, succulent 40K content.
More 40K content. I rolled up and you weren't home yet, and I saw you get out of the passenger side of your vehicle. Now, look, this podcast has got to start making money somehow, folks. I don't know if we need to design some T-shirts or something, because my boy is struggling. And there's a... Now, look. At this stage, we all have real jobs, and my real jobs are hardly jobs, but Casey's got, like, mouths to feed, okay? So, in no way am I hating on him or making fun of that. However, the job is that he works for the temp service, and he does all these drug tests and things, and so...
I deal with a lot of lower income people.
That kind of thing, right? And so... What made me laugh, because I was rolling outside watching your large self, crawling out the side of this sedan in a crouched position. Like, you've exited that way many times lately. And the part that made me laugh was this visual that there may be all kinds of guys lined up there at the temp office.
Guys who got face tattoos, guys who got out of prison, stuff like that.
Yeah, guys that are waiting to do this thing, and you are going to have some impact on their livelihood. And here you come rolling up in the Zack wagon and get out of the passenger side. And they got to be like, what have I got to do?
Look, I'm an orc player, and the power of belief runs my car, okay?
Yeah, that thing is held together on hopes and dreams, and there has to be some old baling wire somewhere keeping that exhaust up.
So we got to talk about the bits box. Open the bits box.
We should open the bits box, but I had to share that because that was great.
You got a good kick out of it.
I did. It was glorious. I mean, look, I've been there before. I used to have one where you had to. I had to get out of the back periodically because both door handles didn't work.
Man, and I'm just the kind of guy that if I'm driving a crappy car or doing a crappy job, then my family aren't driving crappy cars or living in or working at a crappy job. So
you're trying to make me feel bad about it now, aren't you?
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I don't care what you feel, man. I'm going to drive that car at the end of the day. I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off.
You have to at this point. You're committed. At this stage, you're going for the record.
I've spent the money, and I'm going to get my money's worth.
Yeah, no, I'm the same on that, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
car
so
payment
bits box.
For what, for who?
Open
it.
That was awful.
That bits box needs some 3-in-1 oil, like that.
So
that door handle.
Shane, what's been going on with you this week?
Hobby wise, I haven't done anything. However, I did go to the Hobby Lobby, and reason why is the friendly local game stores don't have any file sets, and the reason I need file sets is because I'm going to play with some metal models. So, a couple weeks ago at the NEA Game Fest, we played Gunfighter's Ball, which is
really
just
cool.
It is a sheet of rules away from being a role-playing game, okay? It is not...
It looks pretty dope.
Yeah, it's super fun, but it is not any kind of balanced. It is not any kind of, like, competitive or anything like that. But what it is you can get models of, like, saloon dancing girls, and you can get...
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah, you can get all those guys.
Tombstone.
You can get Clint Eastwood from, like, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Ooh.
Yeah, and...
John Wayne?
They got everybody.
Wow.
Everybody that you've ever seen in the old spaghettis and the TV shows, too.
Makes me want to watch a John Wayne movie now.
Doesn't it? Turn on True Grit. Watch him run that horse to death. I hate that part. I hate that part when she's snake bit or whatever.
Yeah, and he stabs the horse to get it to go faster.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh no, you just got to let her go.
Yeah, my wife is of the same mind on that bit. I'll tell her about that later. She's had a rough day. That'll make her feel better.
But I bought this set, and it's hardly even game pieces. It's more like decoration, and it's guys playing poker at a table. And it's all metal, and the flash on them looks abominable. So I've got So I've got some files to clean those things up, and then I'm a paint them up loud for guys playing saloon style poker. I think it's got 2 poker tables and like 4 dudes on chairs, like wooden spindle chairs,
looking like dogs.
No, they don't look like the dogs. They're not in a corner booth having a mob meeting either. But I think that'll be so fun to have a gambling house shootout with the homie Austin.
That'd be pretty cool
in the Gunfighters Ball. So that's what I'm doing hobby wise. Otherwise, it's game wise. But I'll let you have a turn first.
Yeah, my bits box has got a lot in it, if I'm being honest. I finished up those Dark Angel Intercessors, and immediately somebody hit me up to finish up a entire army of Space Marines, while also getting hit up by another guy to finish a couple characters for him. So I'm doing a custom Slanesh Chaos Sorcerer, and I just picked up, right before we walked in, the entire Imperial Fist Bastion Strike force and half the Leviathan box on the Space Marine side for an individual in our local community who's going to pay me to paint this entire army. Man, it's going to be a lot of models, and I am very burnt out.
It's a lot of yellow.
Yeah, on top of my car, busted its door.
Maybe you can take the painting money and get door handle money.
Yeah, so I needed this lore video to get good. So that is my bits box.
That's all you got.
That's pretty much just lots and lots of painting.
It was the
mostly.
short of the long of it.
I mean, yeah, and then we also had the Jagatai Khan episode come out on YouTube, and that was a pain, let me tell you. Being with my job right now, doing that and getting called every now and again to help somebody out, man, it's been rough. But
yeah, and be sure to check out the show on YouTube now. Not only the short form videos that Casey makes on his own, but the entire podcast is now up there. Last week we did a bigger, a little more video production. It was another painting pod where we
the views are low on this
our
one.
own.
Let's get up in there, guys.
But yeah, so far the long form content has not been as popular on YouTube, but I think that's just because people don't know that it's there. Because I know I watch.
I blame television.
So these kids and their video games. Speaking of video games and hobby adjacent, I have been playing the new Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not loving it.
No?
It's clunky, man.
A lot of people have been talking about it.
I know, and people are trying to say it's one of the best RPGs ever, and I don't know, man. I find it.
At least it's not Zelda.
I mean, Zelda was the height of excellence. But I don't know. I'm not far enough into it, and I'm like 24 hours into it. So we'll just have to see if it feels better. More in my bits box, it was a big playing weekend. We have a local league going on where we need to get 6 games in something like 2 months.
That was also part of my bits box, and I totally forgot. Got my first game in. Did you?
I've got 2 games in.
Yeah, I saw that game. You played. Where were they? Emperor's Children? Yeah, Emperor's Children.
Yeah, it was Black Legion v. Emperor's Children, and narratively, I like to think that Abaddon and Co. went down where the Emperor's Children were just going off on their Slaneshi nonsense, and they were trying to get them back in line. However,
that's a good story.
Abaddon and Co. failed to bring them to heel, so the orgies will continue.
I like the little thing that I put on. I posted photos of his battle on Twitter, guys. Go check it out. Dishonor leads to, what was it, disrespect or something?
I have no idea.
I loved it.
A lot of people seem to have liked that.
Yeah, a lot of people really liked it, and your models and Kane. Shout out to the homie Kane Austin for his Slaneshi Emperor's Children.
Yeah, all Slanesh all the time with him. What else?
Who else you fight?
I played Kier from the NEA Game Fest, the guy we interviewed.
What was he running?
At the end of that, he had Leagues of Votann, and I had my Aldari Void Scarred, the red ones that I wasn't crazy about the paint jobs on. And it was kind of a learning game. It was his first game, but it went well and it played fast.
Kill team, right?
Yeah, kill team. I threw him into the deep end a little bit too. We played with the secondary cards and everything because you really have to. It made for a bad matchup. His dwarves, they don't move very fast compared to other kill teams. Most everything moves 6 inches.
But they're tanky, right?
They actually just got, there was a kill team FAQ that just came out, or errata or balance data slate, whatever they call it, and they all got an extra wound. The day we played, they did not have that extra wound, so they could have stood to be more tanky.
Oh.
But the Aldari Void Scarred get a free dash action.
Because they're fast.
Yeah, every single time they're activated. And so it was a bit of a tough matchup for him because I could just get to the objective so fast, and it was a pickup mission where you grabbed them, right? So my guys would just zip out, grab them, and dive back to the shadows. But it was a lot of fun, and I think that he looks forward to playing again, and I certainly do. I've got 3 kill teams that I can field, so I'll probably take maybe the veteran guardsman next time.
That'd be a good idea.
That's my bits box.
I played while you were doing that. I played our homie Harold.
Yeah, I'd never seen Harold.
Yeah, he's from like 45 minutes away. He's as far as like where you're about to live. He's pretty far. He ran all nights, and I ran orcs. So interesting matchup. I am kind of salty about the Overwatch strat, if I'm being honest. Being able to use the Overwatch strat in your opponent's movement phase and your opponent's charge phase is brutal. And he was playing knights, and he did it. So then he would just play it, and his big shooty knights blast one of my key units right off the board in my turn. He spent as much time shooting in his turn as he did my turn.
Now, I mean, you can't Overwatch more than once, though.
Can't do it in the same. You can't do it in the same turn. So he could use Overwatch in his turn, and I think he could also use it in my turn, but not the same round. I'd have to look at it. Pull up, Shane. You're the game master. You know this by heart. Let's go.
I think the way you're explaining it, you might have got, but I can't be sure because I was busy.
Harold's new, so he doesn't know either.
Yeah. No, that would be vicious if he was overwatching you multiple times on your turn.
No, just one time on my turn.
Yeah. Well, then he's not overwatching on your turn or on his turn. He's just shooting the mess out of you.
We're using the word turn way too much.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did notice that you guys turned around to me and Kane a few times and were like, who all can fight on this pile-in? And as orcs, that's vitally important.
Yeah. Why do you think I asked?
Yeah.
Game master, lore master.
Did you remember your lethal or your explodey sixes on fighting?
I did. I was super happy that I did. Late game, I started getting pretty tired, and it looked like he was winning, so I just it started going out the window a little bit. I was just like playing for speed, and we'd been there 4 hours, so.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's my bits box.
Yeah, me and Kane got our game done inside of 3, and we were talking and hanging out.
Ooh, yeah, you had very few models left.
Yeah, I got completely tabled in turn 5, but scored 70. The score ended up being 70 to 93 on my game, which I don't think is a bad loss for the league. And it felt much closer than that, and it was much closer than that until just the very end. A little bit of garbage time scoring happened. But shut the bits box.
Shut the bits box. Let's go.
Sound effect. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
the quality.
Today
production.
is a lore video, folks. Are you ready?
Is it a video or a pod?
It's a lore pod. But it's going to be on YouTube, so it's going to be a video anyway. Shut up. Today, we're talking about the Dark Angels.
More about the Dark Angels? I thought we had covered the Dark Angels
Look,
today.
we covered their Primarch, we covered the Fallen, but we haven't talked about the modern-day Dark Angels.
I'll be honest, the Fallen has been my favorite one so far.
And I will maybe mention a certain Fallen that we may or may not know.
Is he the one that I may or may not have on order at the Gamers Haven?
Oh, we'll see. Okay. So, getting right into it. Okay, so you know what happened to Caliban. Luther turned traitor. The Fallen followed him. Some were loyal, some were traitors. It just depends on your point of view.
Caliban subsequently got blowed up and turned into the Rock.
Yep. The Dark Angel, it didn't. I haven't read too much about how it happened, but the Dark Angel said, the orcs have the right idea. Let's just strap a bunch of rockets on that thing. So they
fly it around.
Yeah, they used the void shields and turned it into a giant, just a massive ship using the T'Cholcha engine, which I've mentioned to you before. It is a better warp drive that allows them to manipulate time so they can go faster.
So is that different than the regular sort of warp travel that everything else uses?
It's the same, but it does a little bit extra. Let's just say that. Okay, so Luther and the Fallen have been spread out to time. Luther is in his closed door, and the only one who knows about him are the Inner Circle. So the Dark Angels all at this point freak out, and they're like, we have to hunt the bad thing, but the bad thing's gone. The Fallen,
Right.
They wanted to fight chaos, but they were spread pretty thin, and distress calls were coming in from everywhere. So what do? They do not want to be excommunicate traitoris, and they formed the Inner Circle, which was all of the Legion at the time, and eventually the Dark Angels that would go on to found other chapters. They said, we're loyal as heck. So they split up and became chapters to throw off a little bit of, a distraction. Things were so chaotic at this point, they gave a really crappy lie to explain what happened to Caliban, and everybody was just too busy that they just bought it.
Oh, right, because I guess at this stage with the traitor legions sort of
disappearing into the warp.
And they had just popped up. If the Emperor and co were to find out that they had their own internal beef, they would have just sent somebody to wipe them out entirely.
Yes, because at this point, Emperor's on the Golden Throne, Horus is gone, the heresy has been crushed, and all the Primarchs have basically decided, okay, I guess Gilliman's in charge now, which is the Primarch of the Ultramarines. He made this thing called the Codex Astartes, which said no more legions, because a guy with the Space Marine Legion could crush crush a huge part of the space. And it was his plan to fight that. A lot of Primarchs were against this, but nobody really cared. A lot of people cared, but we're going to gloss over it. After that, the Legion broke up into chapters, and they became the Unforgiven because they found out that a few Fallen had actually, lived. And this is where they find out, they are spread out through time and space. They're not all dead. So the Dark Angels declared themselves the Unforgiven. All chapters of the Dark Angels are now united under the banner of the Supreme Grandmaster or Chapter Master of the Dark Angels, and they all have to hunt the Fallen to ground and make them repent or die.
So that's their whole job. Like the Grey Knight's whole job is they hunt demons and they don't exist.
Yes, but this is more of because they're trying to hide their dirty secret, because if anybody finds out, it's on.
Right, because then the Imperium would say, well, that's heretical, and we'll
probably kill them, yeah.
Yeah, we'll send the whole squad.
Which I kind of get, but there's a situation that happens later on. It's called the Badab War. A lot of loyalists fell from grace and followed some Chaos guys they didn't know were Chaos. They were technically traitors, and they got forgiven after 100 years on a penitent crusade, which I'm like, why didn't they just do that?
Well, I imagine that's a everybody dies crusade is more the intent, True. Right?
Yes, and I'll tell you about it another time. But I think it comes down to loyalty. Loyalty was big for Lionel Johnson, still is, and to quote him, loyalty is its own reward. So remember, I said loyalty. I didn't say honesty.
Right.
I didn't say niceness. I didn't say...
we're all going to ride these lies out to the end.
Yes, pretty much. So for the next 10,000 years, they've pretty much hunted the Fallen anywhere they can, chased any lead, any rumor, and it's been crazy.
I put my hand up at this stage.
Go ahead.
I thought that the Lion and the rest of the Dark Angels often get sent to just...
kill the bad thing.
Yeah, just demolish stuff. So while they're hunting the Fallen, they're also having to take these other jobs, and then they're not letting anybody know, oh, we're in the middle of hunting the Fallen right now.
Exactly. No one knows, and it gets them in a lot of trouble from time to time because this mentality just kind of is so deep-seated within them. They don't trust anybody. They only trust in themselves, and they barely trust each other, which is also kind of the reason why Chaos never really got its hooks in them. You know, you can't get corrupted by somebody who's Chaos if, you don't trust them.
Yeah. Well, and I just imagine how cross I would be if I came up here trying to record our podcast and you were in the middle of recording 40K fans.
Exactly. 40K only fans?
Oh, no.
You want to see some gold-abbed imps up in here?
That's a completely different project.
Okay. So for the last 10,000 years, that's what they've done. They even have a section of their branch of their stations. Like every chapter has the librarius, every chapter has the medics, every chapter has the chaplains, their chaplains are not only just chaplains, but they are made to interrogate and torture the fallen until they repent or die.
I wonder, do they have any standard for repentance?
There is, and I will get to that later. So, cut to 10,000 years later. It's the Era Indominus. Rabute Gilliman is back. Call has opened the fridge and graced us with Primaris Marines. Luther escapes. A demon prince attacks the rock, fills the place with demons, and in the process, Luther escapes. Only one knows about this is Azrael, chapter master of the Dark Angels, because he's the only one with the key to Luther's cell, and he's the only one who knows that he's there. They usually use him to torture and get information from time to time, unfreezing him and using him to get information on the fallen. So they chase after, and here's where it gets interesting. They go on this big siege, the Siege of Darkmoor, where they chase our boy.
Cypher?
Yeah! They chase Cypher. They get all of the chapters of the Unforgiven together. Angels of Absolution, the Consecrators, everybody. And they go down and they fight. Chaos outnumbers them so bad, but they want Cypher big time.
Now, when you say chaos, are these chaos demons and things that have teamed up with Cypher and the
traitors,
Fallen?
heretics, people, demons, all that stuff.
So this is an instance where you could get like Abaddon, the Black Legion with Cypher versus Lionel Johnson and all his Dark Angels, Azrael, the whole squad.
So, yeah, 1,000 Unforgiven Space Marines went down to fight. Only 100 lived, and they only lived because they were chasing Cypher.
Wow.
Who was like, hey, a secret teleporter. And boom, they followed him through the teleporter. They were all safe. 100 guys out of a couple thousand, I think.
Catch me if you can.
Azrael called a meeting of all the Dark Angels chapters and said, what are we going to do? We are decimated. We're broken. And that's when, oh no, a giant fleet shows up. And it's our favorite blueberry Boy Scout, Gilliman.
Bobby G.
Yes.
Coming to the rescue, question mark?
And Azrael, being the chapter master and the Supreme Grand Master, was trusted by all the other chapters. They were like, he's a leader. He's got a level head. He'll know what to do. Everybody's like, we kill him right now. And others were like, let's run, because they think that with Gilliman back, he probably knows about the Fallen.
I see.
So Gilliman starts getting pretty close, and Azrael's like, we're doing neither. So, what do you think he had for them?
I imagine he had, we're going to fall in line and we found our Primarch.
Nope.
No?
This is just the beginning. He gives them Primaris Marines.
Azrael does or Bobby G does?
Bobby G gives the Dark Angels their Primaris upgrade.
Oh, he came to reinforce them.
Yep.
Just
came,
assuming that everything's cool.
And they were very suspicious.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, just he shows out of nowhere. How does this not have anything to do with the Fallen?
All Bobby G does is walk around knocking heads.
So, they accept this begrudgingly. They pledge themselves to the new Imperium. They accept the Primaris DLC. Bobby G takes off, and what do?
They go after the Fallen some more?
They torture the Primaris Marines.
No.
And memory wipe them.
No, they don't.
Read a whole book about it.
Really?
2 Primaris Marines will be talking like, hey, man, do you remember what happened last Tuesday? And the one's like, yeah, we went to that pizza party. The other one's like, pizza party? Dude, I thought it was like Monday. And the other one's like, no, don't you remember? And then the third one comes, it's like, wait, you're both wrong. We were at like the donut store or something.
They did that to all of them?
They tortured them and my memory wiped them so they would find out if they knew anything about the Fallen.
Wow.
Or if they were trying to be infiltrated. Because, again, they don't trust people.
We need to do some lore pods on some of my Chaos Legion.
I can't wait,
dudes, because I have a hard time finding where my guys are actually the bad guys.
Yeah, look, they did it for a reason. They even instill their people in their recruitment ceremonies that they can't trust people to seek out secrets or keep secrets. You know, be only loyal to the Dark Angels. Forget your old life. Pick a new name. We memory wipe you, and your only loyalty is to us and us alone. So, now, They have the Primaris upgrade. They've done a lot of cool stuff with this. A lot of people have said, let's trust Azrael. Azrael knows what he's doing. Azrael bets it all on one guy. The guy, he's a Primaris Marine. He goes to the rites. He does everything. He finds out about a Fallen. And a lot of adventures ensue. And Azrael is right. He passed the trials. The guy and his squad of Primaris Dark Angels are put into the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle is every chapter master of the Unforgiven, every commander within those ranks, so like the captain of every company, and every officer who holds the lead position, like a head chaplain or a head librarian. They all know about the Fallen.
Sounds like a big circle.
Yes. But it's actually unique because not only do these people know about the Fallen, but they're all given half-truths or small segments that are left out in case they give up the information. And it's like, well, that dude's lying.
Wow.
So, and the entire first company, because their job is like to hunt the Fallen even more. So, the Dark Angels are organized into multiple companies that they have that are unique. They do not follow the Codex Astartes on this. They have the Deathwing, which is the first company, all their veterans. Bone White Armor, Terminator Armor, you've seen them probably 100 times. The Raven Wing, the Dread Wing, the Fire Wing, Iron Wing, Storm Wing. All of these are focused on a specific aspect of warfare, much like the different Primarchs and the different legions, right? One's focused on artillery, one's focused on tanks, one's strike fast, one's hit from the shadows, basically. And they really don't like Gilliman. They really don't. They just see that Codex Astartes and they just wipe their butt with it.
Are they just afraid of the sort of... I mean, is it just the shame of their secret of their infighting that causes them to sort of not fall in line with the rest of the sort of heavily regimented thing that Bobby G puts together?
Well, yeah, they don't really trust anybody. They're really stubborn. They're really prideful, really stalwart. They're short on patience. They don't like serving with normal humans, but they are more prone to fight with other Space Marines.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that, but at the same time, they seem to be like well aware of this life and death level of shame and secret that they're trying to keep.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're terribly at peace with it.
Yeah, and I try to think of it like this. If you think of the Black Templars like the knights during the Crusades in Jerusalem, the Dark Angels are the knights when they're like at home or in days of yore. They had their secret little orders and stuff. They kept secrets hid in the shadows and tried to uphold their own honor instead of, focusing on one flag and stuff like that.
I see.
So the Dark Angels have been accused of legion building. Which, I mean, if they control all those chapters, I mean, what would you say?
Yeah, it would seem that the numbers are growing.
But no one knows because it's a secret.
Yeah.
They're probably also... The Inquisition kind of thinks that they could be the solution for Gilliman. So with Gilliman bringing all these Primaris, he's kind of has more control over things than anyone ever has since the days of the Great Crusade. He's got legions at his command. He's the big boy in charge of the entire Imperium. He speaks with the Emperor's word. He has the Emperor's sword, and he works with custodians. Somebody needs to, level out that power. So people think that the Dark Angels can do that.
I mean, why would they want to do that?
Because they don't trust anyone.
Well, but I mean, like, why would anybody want them to do that? Like, isn't Bobby G this paragon of greatness and order?
Yeah, but he came out of nowhere. We don't know if he's trying to take over the Imperium and become the new emperor. He seems to be, like, giving all this good stuff away out of the goodness of his hearts, and it's kind of like, no one's that nice in the 41st millennium.
It sounds like the plot of Batman vs. Superman, my favorite.
Exactly. I just had the same thought. Go for it.
My favorite superhero movie, yes. Bring on your hate. Tell me how bad a movie that is.
I love Batfleck.
And I will fight with you to the last.
At me right now. I love Batfleck. Let's go.
Oh, he's so good. He's the best one. That movie's the best one.
I've got a couple characters I got a couple characters.
Yeah, we have to play. Does he have a model too?
And yes, that is one of the things. So I hope you've got your phone ready.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm going to be sending you photos.
Phones out, kids.
Of everybody that I talk about. So first man, the Supreme Grand Master of the Dark Angels, my boy Azrael. Azrael has fought for the Dark Angels for hundreds of years, repping that awesome helmet, by the way.
Yeah, he's got the feather horns.
Thought you'd like this bit of lore. He has fought Karn the Betrayer, and they were both put in a situation where a Tzeentch demon was like, I'm going to use them to fight against each other and just like teleport them and like see them fight each other in like a small combat match. Azrael's like, dude, somebody's obviously tricking us. And Karn's like, you have a stupid hat. I read that book and I'm not kidding. I'm paraphrasing only a little.
It is a silly hat.
Yeah. It's got big red wings. So what I'm going to do with him, I'm going to send him. You just seen that picture. What do you think of the first picture?
No, yeah, I like Azrael's model, and I like his little dude. What are those guys called again?
Those are the Watchers in the Dark. They were named Caliban. They are basically like Ewoks. Nobody really talks directly to them. They keep the secrets to the Dark Angels. They're the ones who anoint the new chapter master every time one is picked. It is completely heretical and illegal to look under their hood.
Casey?
Yes.
That is a Jawa.
Basically. But look at his foot. He's got a power-armored foot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That is interesting. And they're the ones who secreted away the lion to the deep depths of the rock in a secret room.
You know, like in anime stuff where you'll have your hero from the previous series who in the sequel series is now a very, very old man, and somehow he's lost like 75% of his height?
Yes.
Is it possible that the Watchers in the Dark are just old, busted...
old Space Marines?
Or Calibanians?
Caliban Knights.
Calibanites.
That'd be cool. I'd
Calibanians?
I'd take Calibanite, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm sending you the picture of his first model. I actually painted that one once. So, and I'm going to send you the new model. Recently, he has crossed the Rubicon Primaris. He used to be two models, himself and his Watcher in the Dark, who carry around his helmet. And now he is a Primaris Marine. He's a little bit bigger. He's got his Watcher in the Dark on the model on the base with him.
They can just do so much more with the cloth now.
They can.
Because his robe before, in the old model, is like, it's stuck to him.
Yeah.
It's like he
was metal.
He needed a dryer sheet.
Yeah.
And now it's like all flipped out and flowy, and he looks all downied up.
So he is the leader of all the Unforgiven, a sound tactician, a natural-born leader. He's not prone to anger. He's not prone to emotion. He makes the most educated and sound decisions in a moment. When he was fighting Karn, like I told you before, he literally was getting rocked by Karn. But instead of, going Space Marine style and, like, fight until death, he was like, I'm going to dip. Come on back, and like, because you're thousands of years old, you're infused with chaos, and you're a champion of Karn. I'm not doing it. So he has the Lion's Helm, which is rumored to be the actual helmet Lionel Johnson wore back during the Great Crusade. It's got tech even he doesn't understand. He's also got the Sword of Secrets, which was made after the destruction of Caliban, and is literally the key to Luther's cell.
Ooh, that's neat.
Yeah. He's also got Lion's Wrath, which, if you look at the model, it is a combi plasma bolter, which I think looks especially dope.
I just like the little bullpup side magazine action.
Oh, yeah, the little clip. He orchestrates all the fallen hunts with the leader of the Raven Wing. He's the keeper of the truth, which is, Luther, and he knows the full extent of what happened that day as far as the Dark Angels know on Caliban. He's also in charge of all of their secrets. He's got a big old library that every freaking chapter master of the Dark Angels has controlled. It's got secrets like you can't even predict. One time he ran into a greater demon, and the greater demon was like, I'm just going to mess you up right now. And then he just said one word, and it was the demon's name. And he had no idea how he knew it. He's like, I just read in a book.
Wild.
Crazy.
Now, was Azrael a original Caliban knight?
He was not. He is a current 40K Space Marine. He was recruited from, a primitive world, raised through the ranks. He showed great leadership and great tactics. He did his bit and got into the inner circle, and eventually, when the old chapter master died, he had secretly selected Azrael to succeed him. They did a little ceremony. All those little Jawa dudes came around and was like, here's a helmet, here's a sword, here's this awesome bolt gun, and you're the chapter master now. He's so cool, but there's so little to know about him, honestly. It's like what you see is what you get.
And isn't there a model of a guy one under him as well? Another named character, or am I tripping?
There's a couple named characters. I'm going to send you the next one. So, this is the artwork for Mr. Belial. What do you think of him?
Yeah, that's another one.
That is Belial, the first company captain or master of the Deathwing.
Neat.
Really cool facts about him. He is a perfectionist. Not so much in that he wants everything to be perfect. He just doesn't care about victory. He only cares about his failings. He's got some dope ink that you probably don't see because of the model. I think he's a funny model because he looks like he has a castle on his back.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that Grey
goofy.
Knight's papoose. What's that thing called?
The knight. What is it? The Dread Knight. The Dread Knight.
Yeah, yeah.
So dumb.
It's like it's a dreadnought.
So
but you ride it like a exosuit.
It's so Baby Bjorn.
Yeah, Baby Bjorn.
He is so obsessed with his failings that when he fails, he takes a tattoo and he put a tattoo gun. He tattoos some section of his body about that failing so that he can learn from it. He doesn't just tattoo it. He puts a low-grade poison in it or acid so it doesn't heal for like 7 to 10 years, and he constantly feels the pain of that defeat. He is so critical. One time, some Marines reported for the first company to be revealed the truth, of the fallen and everything. One got off the ship a little later than the others, and he was like, hey, the pilot said hi. And he's like, great, go whip yourself. No food for 3 days.
No.
He's like, but your friend says hi. And he's like, I don't care. You need to be perfect. This is This is Deathwing.
That cannot be a sensible structure of leadership.
I know, it's just, he gets totally grimdark, but he's such a jerk, and I love it. So, next guy I'm going to send you is the company captain of the second company of the Dark Angels, Samael. That is
Samael.
And yes, Samael. He is really cool. The Raven Wing's job is basically they're like the White Scars. They ride bikes, they use vehicles, they strike fast, they strike hard at the weak points, and they fade away.
You guys go back to last week's episode and listen to the intro on my thoughts on bikes in 40K.
He hates bikes. Well, this is a jet bike.
This is a jet bike, which also, could they not find a flight stand with no bubbles in it?
Use a paperclip.
I mean, something like the whole 40K, painting team, modeling team. None of them could find a flight stand that didn't have a couple of big old bubbles in it.
So Grandmaster Samael is the captain or the Grandmaster of the Raven Wing. He rides on this dope jet bike, which, as you know, the Dark Angels have a lot of relics and stuff because they were trusted. This is a bike specifically only given to Custodes.
Oh, yeah. I thought it looked like the Custodes bikes.
This is an ancient relic that the Dark Angels only give to the Grand Master of the Raven Wing, because the Raven Wing are the primary people in the Dark Angels that relentlessly hunt the fallen. I guess that makes sense because they're on bikes.
You know what?
He's all about speed and surprise. He's called the leader of the hunt. He's also very bold, very reckless. I kind of think of him as like, ha 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 ha, I'm the knight of the round table, ha ha ha. We dance when we are able.
You beat me to it.
So, what do you think so far?
I think that they're. I think that they're as goofy as any other Imperium
but
sort of
cool
thing. Of course, they're cool. They're super cool. I do wonder. So, the Lion's awake now.
Yes,
Does he just not participate in any of this bureaucracy?
Well, the lore has caught up to that, and currently it is literally big campaign. Dark Angels fight on one side, Lion and his Fallen fight on the other side, and then they both meet in the middle, and they're like, hey, cut to black, Soprano style.
Wait, the Lion is with the Fallen?
Yeah, remember I explained it. He has been reuniting his Fallen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
Which is interesting because the Dark Angels have been trying to murder those dudes the entire time.
It's going to be a real interesting time when they meet up.
Wow.
So.
However, the Lion has been popping up helping the Dark Angels, but it's just to let me know when I need to warp in and thump heads, right?
He's been helping people all over the Imperium.
I see.
But not particularly the Dark Angels. He hasn't even met them yet. The lore has caught up to them meeting, and like I said, Soprano styles cut to black. Nobody knows what happens after that. It's a big deal.
Azrael going to lose his job.
Dude, people are going to go insane. Okay, so moving on. Next guy I've got a list. Ezekiel, the Grand Master of the Librarians. This guy is weird, even for a librarian. He never talks unless it's in an inner circle meeting. He's very unsettling, stern, and uncompromising. But he has a book on him, and that book is the Book of Salvation, which every Dark Angel is told to defend unto death, die for this man at least, but die for that book first. Because this book lists every Fallen that they have captured with their name in it, written in their blood.
He carries that around with him onto the battlefield?
Yep, because he's the keeper of the keys, the head librarian.
These boys are silly.
He's in charge of the librarians.
I guess so. You got to leave the library at home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and he has a key to every single room in the rock except for that one containing Luther,
where Luther's stuck.
Exactly, because he doesn't even know about it. He's very unsettling.
Oh, right. He doesn't know about that one. Oh, no.
No one does. Only Azrael.
I was thinking Luther's cell would be a good place for this book. However.
Right. So, talking about the Fallen, talking about torture, let's talk about Master Interrogator Chaplain Asmodai, who I am so psyched to talk about.
Does he have a model?
Oh my gosh, yes. But first, let me send you Ezekiel's model because I totally biffed that. Here's an artwork of Ezekiel, and here is his model.
You're going to have to share all of these pictures for the good people on the 40K.
It's going to be dope. So
why is he blue?
I know, because he's a librarian. That's their state of office. Like, apothecaries are white, chaplains are black, tech marines are red, librarians are blue.
I see.
Yes, it's a codex thing.
He's metal as can be.
Yes, he is a metal model. Samael was actually resin. He's stuck in fine cast.
Yeah, he's high priced looking.
One of Samael, my bad. Samael is resin. He's actually up at the foundry. If you want to go buy him for me real quick. So moving on.
$200?
70, I think. Anyways, Master Interrogator Chaplain Asmodai. Here's a photo.
Oh no.
How metal is that?
That doesn't look like a good guy.
No, he is not. He's not even the head chapter master, but look at that model.
That's pretty good. He's metal too, isn't he?
Yes, stuck in metal. Sorry, unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah, that cloth just doesn't work.
He is not the head chapter. He is not the head chaplain of the Dark Angels for two reasons. He is a good fighter, and he is very dedicated to fighting the Fallen. Second reason, he is a senior officer, which are both good reasons to have him, but he is a terrible leader.
Yeah, he looks like a psycho.
He is absolutely a psycho. He hunts the Fallen so bad that when he found out about the Fallen, and oh my gosh, he cannot stand any other thought, movement, or action that does not involve either working for the Dark Angels, to being in battle, or hunting the Fallen. If you're like sitting down and eating, he's like, what is wrong with you? He's been censured so many times, and on his side he has 2 black pearls, which is like a rosary bead thing that interrogator chaplains have.
Yeah.
He is the most successful interrogator chaplain because each bead represents a fallen that has repented for their sins. And he has 2.
Oh. 2 of them.
2! Very successful man.
Question.
What?
Do they yet live?
They don't. After they repent, they get mercy killed, bro.
Right. No. So even if you win,
you lose. It's either die here in a few days after torture or die in a few weeks from the torture. So, yeah. He's a very ends justify the means kind of guy. Azrael has had to step in and like tell him to stop multiple times. One time during a battle, he was with the Raven Wing, and he got wind of a Fallen in the middle of a hive city. As they were deploying far away, he just has the ship that they're on fire on the city and blow it to pieces to flush out the Fallen.
Man.
The Fallen runs away, and the Raven Wing catch him as he's running. 50,000 people died.
That doesn't sound like that many.
For 50,000, well, 50,000, or maybe 150,000. I don't. It was 50,000.
Well, 40K population numbers are bizarre.
Yes, 50,000 people died, and somebody asked, Azrael asked him, "What was your thinking here?" He's like, "Better 50,000 innocent people die than one traitor get away." To punish him for this, they sent him to the training company. And
That's
for 3 years,
idea.
For 3 years, he was sent there. It lasted 6 months because he went there to I can't stop laughing.
We can't have him teaching nobody nothing.
He said that the whole gene seed of the entire recruitment generation was corrupted because they failed to answer his questions quick enough and needed to be killed.
Oh no.
So he was sent there to be punished for 3 years, and came back after 6 months because he
got to get that guy out the classroom, man.
Full of zeal, full of
have
craziness. He's bat crap crazy. So yeah, he personifies the chase for the Fallen. He's crazy, and he's not even the head chaplain. Azrael has not only had to censure him, but as has his boss. He has gone over not only his boss's head, but over Azrael's as well, multiple times.
Well, whoever his boss is, he sounds way more interesting.
He was given boss because he, even though he's younger than Azrael, he's actually a good leader. He's level-headed. He's a tactician. He knows that there's more to life than just fighting the Fallen, even though that's their main goal. Azrael, not so much.
Well,
and that concludes.
I like how many named characters there are because I love me some characters.
I would love them to be upgraded with some models. New models.
I mean, just characters on characters, man. That's my move.
Fact. Games Workshop has said that they're probably going to release some new Dark Angels models pretty soon. That's from the Scuttlebutt.
Oh, man.
I'm ready. Get all those characters that I sent you that are stuck in Minecast.
Could I end up switching sides?
Ooh, yeah. But you still get to bring Cypher to the party.
But I still get to bring Cypher either way.
So what do you think, Shane?
I like them. I learned things about stuff. And the overarching thing every time we do one of these lore pods that I take from it is that the Imperium's bureaucracy is totally just... It is going to circle the drain.
It's been circling the drain.
That's
why we got Gilliman. And he's like, do your taxes, man.
Do your taxes. That's never what you want.
So, yes, the Dark Angels hunt the Fallen. They are the relentless hunters of the Emperor, and they are crazy and secretive. Also very knightly. All wrapped in one box with a pretty pink bow.
Green bow.
Dark green bow.
Dark green bow.
So,
off-white.
Any takeaways you
robe?
want to like?
Tunic? What do we call that?
I think I call it a robe. I love that robe. A lot of people like those robes. The add-ons. I can get more robes. I'm for it.
Yeah, more robes, more capes. You hear us, GW? More robes, more capes.
I mean, look at the Lions model. He's got like
cape and robe
and multiple heads with the hood.
Yeah,
yeah. Where do the ears go?
He's got to get his Allen key out and unscrew that mug.
Your hat's stupid.
Check us out. Comment, rate the show. Let us know what you think about all the various things.
Yep.
How can you support us so far? You can share the podcast. You can tell of it. You can subscribe.
Follow the Twitter. Check out the YouTube page. Give us a like. Give us a comment. We appreciate it. There's going to be a few more surprises, but I'm keeping them secret from Shane because I'm a dark angel at heart. So we'll see what he does when I reveal them, probably next week.
We'll talk to you next week. Every Friday this thing comes out in all the places except Apple, which we are looking into. I've been Shane.
And I'm Casey.
And that's this episode of 40K Fanatics.
Peace.